In the quiet streets of Southington, Connecticut, there stood an aging house, a place where history has woven a tapestry of secrets, anguish, and unspeakable horrors. The house at 208 Meriden Avenue, with its charming exterior, beckoned the Snedeker family to call it home. Little did they know that their pursuit of a fresh start would lead them into the heart of a living nightmare. In the sweltering summer of 1986, the Snedeker family consisted of Carmen and Al, the loving parents of 4 children, and their eldest son Philip. Philip, a young boy burdened with the cruel weight of cancer, was the reason for their move. The family sought an affordable haven, a place of peace where Philip could convalesce from his arduous treatments. Their hopes were high as they stepped across the threshold of 208 Meridian Avenue, where the promise of an affordable and character-filled home awaited. But as the saying goes, appearances can be deceiving. What initially seemed like an opportunity for solace would soon transform into a descent into darkness. The first signs were subtle, almost teasing in their obscurity. Mysterious noises echoed through the house, a creaking floorboard here, a hushed whisper there. At first I dismissed the sounds as quirks of an old house, attributing them to the settling of the time-worn beams. But soon they realized that these were not ordinary noises. One fateful night, Carmen woke to the eerie sounds of children's laughter echoing through the hallways. It was a chilling sound, for the children were tucked safely in their beds, far away from any merriment. Al, awakened by the same unsettling laughter, sprang from his bed and hurried into the hallway. But as he approached, the laughter vanished, leaving behind an eerie silence. These strange occurrences multiplied, tormenting the Snedeker family like an itch they couldn't scratch. Unexplainable apparitions manifested throughout the house, a fleeting shadow darting across their peripheral vision. Twisted faces peering out from mirrors, their mournful eyes begging for release from an unknown torment. The house itself seemed to breathe, its atmosphere growing heavy and foreboding. The optimism they had clung to when they first moved in had transformed into an oppressive dread that hung in the air, thick and suffocating. However, the heart of this haunting lay in the basement, a place that had once served as a mortuary for a funeral home. It was there that the darkness seemed most palpable, as if the very walls bore witness to the pain and suffering of the deceased. Whenever a member of the Snedeker family ventured into the basement, they felt the weight of unseen eyes watching their every move. They could sense an invisible malevolence lurking just beyond the edge of sight. The most heart-wrenching of these horrors fell upon their young son Philip. Weak and fragile from his battle with cancer, he became the primary target of the malevolent forces within the house. In the dead of the night, he'd wake from terrified screams, his eyes wide with terror. Philip would speak of grotesque, contorted faces that materialized in the darkest corners of his room, whispering malevolent secrets and depriving him of precious sleep. But it wasn't the visual terrors. He bore the marks of his torment, scratches and bruises, as if invisible hands reached out from the shadows to grasp him. Desperation eventually led the Snedeker family to seek help beyond the realm of the rational. They knew they could no longer bear the caseless torment and the pall of fear that hung over their lives. And so they reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, investigators renowned for their work in cases like the medieval horror. When the Warrens arrived, they brought with them a sense of urgency and a deep understanding of the darkness that had gripped the Snedeker family. They didn't dismiss their claims as mere delusions or hysteria. Instead, they embarked on their own investigation, determined to unearth the truth lurking within the shadows. As the Warrens delved into the history of the house, they uncovered unsettling details. It was confirmed that the basement had indeed served as a mortuary, a place where the dead were prepared for their final journey. The revelation sent shivers down the spines for all involved, for it hinted at the sinister history that lay beneath the surface. Throughout their investigation, the Warrens gathered compelling evidence of the supernatural. They captured chilling EVPs on tape, voices that spoke from beyond the veil of death. Their photographs revealed inexplicable anomalies, ghostly figures and orbs of light. Most crucially, they believed they had identified the source of the haunting, a malevolent presence that had attached itself to the Snedeker family, feasting upon their fear and suffering. This entity, they believed, was responsible for the physical and psychological torment that had plagued the family. The Warrens conducted exorcisms and blessings, the rituals filled with tension and the palpable sense of confrontation with the supernatural. After their interventions, the house experienced a brief respite from the relentless horrors. It seemed that the malevolent presence had been banished, and the Snedeker family could breathe a sigh of relief. But the scars remained, etched into their minds and hearts. They couldn't bear to stay in the house any longer, where the very walls seemed to pulse with dread. In 1988, they made the agonizing decision to leave it all behind, seeking refuge in a rental property they had hoped the specter of their past would not follow. The Snedeker family chose to share their harrowing story with the world, not for fame or fortune, but as a testament to the forces beyond our understanding. Their experiences were chronicled in the book In the Dark Place, A Story of a True Haunting by Ray Gardner, an attempt to document the horrors that they had endured. Yet the story did not end with their departure from the house on Meriden Avenue. The haunting in Connecticut left an indelible mark on their lives. Skeptics have dismissed their claims, attributing their experiences to mental illness or the stresses of illness. Others question the involvement of the Warrens, suggesting ulterior motives. To this day, the haunting in Connecticut stands out as a chilling enigma, an account that continues to captivate and terrify those who dare to delve into its depths. The Snedeker family shared their tale not to convince the skeptics, but to shine a light on the mysteries that unroach upon our lives. Their experience remains a haunting reminder that sometimes the line between the natural and the supernatural is much thinner than we would ever dare to imagine. The Snedeker family's legacy is one of endurance, resilience, and a stark awareness that darkness can lurk where you least expect it. The legend of the Wendigo has deep roots in the folklore of several indigenous cultures, especially among the Algonquin-speaking tribes, including the Ojibwe, Cree, and Algonquin peoples. It is a narrative that has been passed down through the generations, evolving over time. The Wendigo is often described as a malevolent supernatural being, an embodiment of hunger, greed, and cannibalism. According to the legend, the transformation into a Wendigo occurs when an individual resorts to cannibalism, especially during times of extreme scarcity, such as the harsh winters of the North Woods. This heinous act is believed to curse the person, turning them into monstrous, insatiable creatures. The physical appearance of the Wendigo is a source of dread and fascination. It is typically described as a towering figure, emaciated to the point of being skeletal, with sallow, mottled skin stretched tightly over its gaunt frame. Its eyes are hollow and sunken, devoid of warmth and humanity. Its fingers are long and bony, ending in talon-like claws, and its mouth is filled with jagged razor-sharp teeth. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of the Wendigo is the insatiable hunger. It is said that no matter how much it consumes, it is never satisfied. Its hunger drives it to seek out human flesh, and it relentlessly stalks its prey through the wilderness, leaving no trace in the snow-covered landscape. One of the most chilling accounts involving the Wendigo revolves around a group of fur trappers who ventured deep into the wilderness during a brutal winter. Their supplies had dwindled, and the biting cold threatened to consume them. As their desperation grew, they made the fateful decision to resort to cannibalism. One by one, they began to consume the flesh of their fallen comrades in a desperate bid for survival. With each bite, their humanity faded, replaced by a darkness that took root in their souls. As days turned into weeks, the surviving trappers underwent a horrifying transformation. Their bodies contorted into grotesque forms, and their eyes gleamed with an unnatural hunger. They became Wendigos, ravenous, insatiable, and driven to hunt and consume human flesh. Their emaciated figures roamed the woods, seeking fresh victims to satiate their unending appetites. In another variation of the legend, a skilled hunter found himself trapped in the heart of a blizzard while pursuing a deer through the forest. Unable to return home with no other options, he made a harrowing choice. He killed the deer and consumed its flesh to survive. As he devoured the deer, a chilling sense of dread washed over him. He remembered the stories of the Wendigo, the curse that befell those who resorted to cannibalism. He knew he had become one of the cursed, a Wendigo. His humanity slipped away, replaced by an insatiable hunger that would drive him deeper into the wilderness, forever hunting and consuming flesh. Among the indigenous peoples of the North American forests, encounters with the Wendigo were often spoken of in hushed tones. They described eerie sightings of tall, emaciated figures with pale, mottled skin and hollow eyes. These creatures would stalk the woods, their footsteps leaving no trace in the snow. One chilling account tells of a group of Ojibwe hunters who ventured deep into the wilderness on a winter expedition. As night fell, they made camp in the forest, seeking shelter from the biting cold. Suddenly a haunting sound pierced the silence, a mournful cry that echoed through the trees. Panic spread through the camp like wildfire, and the hunters huddled together, clutching their weapons. One brave soul, torn between fear and curiosity, ventured out to confront the source of the eerie cry. What he witnessed would haunt him for the rest of his days. Emerging from the shadows was a towering, emaciated figure, the embodiment of the Wendigo. Its eyes gleamed with a malevolent hunger as it unleashed a bone-chilling howl that seemed to freeze the very blood in the hunter's veins. Terrified, he fled back to his companions, and together they abandoned their camp, leaving behind all their possessions. They knew that to confront a Wendigo was to invite a fate worse than death. The legend of the Wendigo is more than just a spine-tingling tale. It carries profound cultural and moral significance. It serves as a cautionary tale against the horrors of cannibalism, a practice that was considered the ultimate taboo in indigenous communities. It reminds individuals of the dire consequences of succumbing to the darkest impulses within themselves. The Wendigo also reflects the deep connection that indigenous cultures have with the natural world. It embodies the belief that nature can be both inspiring and unforgiving, and that humanity must always tread carefully, respecting delicate balance of the wilderness. The legend of the Wendigo endures, passed down through generations as a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. It is a story that transcends time and culture, a reminder that even in the modern world, where the wilderness has been tamed and the frontiers have receded, the human capacity for darkness and transformation remains as haunting as ever. Whether encountered in the chilling accounts of the fur trappers, the hunter's curse, or the eerie sightings in the forest, the Wendigo stands as an embodiment of humanity's eternal struggle against the abyss. It serves as a stark reminder that the line between humanity and monstrosity is thinner than we would dare to imagine, lurking in the shadows of our own souls.